The High West by itself wasn't too bad.
No. Shall we get ourselves rolling?
Let's roll.
I'm getting a little thirsty.
Yeah, no kidding. We on?
We are.
We are on. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Savor the Burn. I am Jonathan. Across the table from me is W2. We are going to try out a whole bunch of delicious whiskeys today. We got little samplers from Flavier. We got these beautiful new flight boards that W2 ordered for us. We'll have to have pictures of those up on our socials very soon. I want to get them with all the little whiskey glasses in there. I think it'd be really great. But before we get to that, let's recap real quick on the rye whiskeys we tried in the last few episodes. What all did we try? There was a Copper Fox.
We started with the Copper Fox, and then we went on to the Balcones Texas Rye.
Yeah, that beautiful chocolatey, super delicious one.
And then we had the Rossville Union, and then the High West, which we then took the High West and we did the High West Manhattan.
Yeah, the High West Manhattan. Was that that was the double rye.
That was the double rye. Yeah, that was
it
really
didn't really
good.
seem to me like it was like extra rye, like there was a lot of extra rye-ness, if that's a word, to it. It's not a word, dear Webster, please put it in your dictionary. Give me full credit for it. Rye-ness. Your rye-ness. sounds like a slight, I guess. I don't even know what it means. I made it up, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah, tonight we're making our way back to a variety of bourbons.
Yeah, every single one of these on this list is a bourbon. We got Iron Smoke Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I'm looking forward to trying that one out. Coppersea, Coppersea, Excelsior Straight Bourbon Whiskey. An offering from Town Branch, a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Noble Oak Double Oak Bourbon Whiskey. I'm looking forward to trying that one. Last but not least, Sweetens Cove, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Tennessee Bourbon Whiskey. There's a story behind that one, isn't there?
There is. There's actually, several stories, but this one in particular, they named it Tennessee because it's a blending of Kentucky and Tennessee bourbon.
That makes sense. I like it.
Slam them together and
I like it.
Add it to Webster.
And without further ado, let's try this one out. What do we have here?
Yeah, we've got Iron Smoke Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This bottle retails for roughly $49. This one is out in New York. So the first couple that we've got on the docket are actually out of New York.
New York City! Get a rope.
The age on this, like a lot of the bourbons, are NAS.
Yeah, so far I'm pulling off some very sweet, like caramely notes off of this, and you can smell the char and the oak on it.
So this one, is listed as the age is NAS, which is no age statement.
Huh.
Google says no age statements, whiskeys with no age information on the label. Most NAS whiskeys are single malts. These came about as a consequence of the law requiring that only the age of the youngest whiskey may be stated. So,
okay.
Most whiskeys are blended to some level, and if you're going to state an age on a bottle, you have to list the youngest one that's part of the blending. And honestly, if you're blending them, you're probably pulling a lot of different ages to pull in the smoothness of a little bit older bourbon and a little bit of bite and heat from a younger one.
Yeah, and some people like that bite and that heat. They really want to savor that burn. I like mine a little more smooth. Yeah, we've tried the triple distilled varieties, and those are kind of right there in my sweet spot.
A no age statement I don't think is a bad thing at all. And in fact, a lot of times I feel like if it is NAS, you're probably getting some older, really good bourbons in that blend.
Yeah.
They've just decided to go NAS on it so that they didn't have to say 1 year.
Right, because they could easily have 7 or 9 year in there with it. And then it's maturation. It's triple charred virgin white oak casks. I'm gonna give this a taste. This delicious so-called deep amber looking whiskey.
There's definitely a very classic caramel and butterscotch notes on the nose. It has a very typical bourbon aroma to it.
Yes. It's not on the nose. It's not harsh. It's not like burning your nose hairs. But on the mouth, it's very sweet to me. It's got lots of carameliness. It's got you can definitely taste that oak.
Yeah, I feel like there's some char to that, the oakiness.
And it's This is a really good whiskey.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
I mean, for a straight bourbon whiskey, this is really good.
There's some nice subtle vanillas going on.
Kind of a rich vanilla, like a deep vanilla that complements really well with that carameliness. There's another word for you, Webster.
The notes say toasted marshmallow. I don't know if there's definitely a creaminess to it, but I don't know if I would equate that to a toasted marshmallow.
Yeah, I don't get toasted marshmallow off of that. Charcoal, oak, spicy, vanilla, and toasted marshmallow. Charcoal isn't that usually known for pulling flavor out, for like making it mellow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the oak is definitely there. The spiciness, it's really not spicy, not to me, and I'm pretty weak when it comes to spicy.
Yeah,
but the vanilla is very forward. Toasted marshmallow, I'm not picking up on that.
There's a little bit of a bite to it, but it's
gone almost
smooth.
immediately. It's like 3 seconds, gone.
Yeah, I mean it's a very dry finish.
Yeah, it's a dry, complex finish with notes of red fruits and a hint of sweet applewood smoke. I'm not sure I'm picking up on any of the smokiness on the finish. Maybe some on the nose, which is weird. On the nose, it says classic bourbon notes of caramel and butterscotch with a luscious, savory note, which is what you already said. I have a bad habit of rereading everything that you read. It's like you're reading the notes and I'm like busy sniffing, getting my own impression off of it. I'm not paying attention.
Just a little bit about the distillery that I picked up from online. It says that Iron Smoke Distillery is a fairly new addition to the craft distilling community located in upstate New York. In that part of the state, they grow a lot of apples. So it is only natural that this local crop would have an impact of their spirits they produce. I don't know if I'm really picking up any apple
I'm not
in this
either.
at all.
I would almost bet that your buddy Mitch would have a hard time picking up on any appleness off of this. He picked it up on every single Irish whiskey we tried. And in hindsight, I tend to agree.
Yeah, and it says that Iron Smoke has 2 products in their family: the Iron Smoke Applewood Smoked Bourbon Whiskey and Rattlesnake Rosie's Apple Pie Whiskey.
Oh, okay.
That sounds pretty delicious.
Yeah, flavored whiskey.
Might have to look for Rosie's Rattlesnake.
Makes you wonder who Rosie is and what the story is behind on that one.
If nothing else, I'm enjoying having the subscription to the flavor.com just to get these tasting boxes with these little samples, because this is probably one I would not have discovered going to your local store or whatever. So it's nice to be able to not only have a variety of these little samples to be able to just taste, but having access then to ones that you otherwise would not have access to, let alone know about.
Yeah, I mean, you might pick up the bottle and look at it because it says Iron Smoke. It sounds very manly, very old westy. But you might put it down just because maybe there's an old standard nearby, or maybe if you're in the mood for trying something different, you might grab it and say, I'm going to try this out. But at $50, $49, you might pick something else. And so with this subscription, you say, how does it work? You pick. Do you pick what you want, or do you tell them generally what you're looking for and they pick it?
You pick what you want. So it's set up to where you can pay yearly or you can pay quarterly. For my subscription, they've actually got several tiers, but the subscription that I've got, every quarter I get a tasting box and a full bottle. And so what they do is you go online, you can pick from any of them that they have available, but they, based off of what you have ordered in the past, they curate a collection of 6-8 to choose from that are their pick for you, kind of a thing. I think this one was called Gangs of New York or something. And so, so they were all New York-based bourbons.
Well, you say Gangs of New York, and it brings me back to that movie, with Leonardo DiCaprio and, all the Irish and all that. But the Irish whiskey, kind of appley. And then, like you said here, the area where the Iron Smoke Distillery, in that part of the state, they're known for growing a lot of apples.
Yeah, so, upstate New York.
I'm just wondering, why we didn't pick up on the apple on this. So there's nothing in the notes about anything apple.
No.
So maybe I'm getting hung up on something that's just kind of dumb.
And maybe more so than this one, their Rattlesnake Rosie's Apple Pie Whiskey.
Okay.
Maybe that's the one that really kind of it comes through and shines on.
Yeah, I would expect there's a lot of caramel, there's a lot of apple,
But
a
this
lot
one
of,
by itself, I'm not getting any apple at all.
which is fine. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't need the apple in the whiskey to enjoy it, especially not this. I really did enjoy it. I would. I don't know. I don't know why I'm feeling so generous on this, but I mean, I would give this a solid 8.5, 9. I don't know why I wouldn't go full 9. I'll just give it a full 9. I mean, it's to me, 8.5, 9 out of 10. I would absolutely drink this again, and I would love to share this with friends and family that appreciate these kinds of things.
I'm fairly certain I have seen this bottle locally, and I'm hoping to find it because I'm excited and definitely would try this one again. I would really like to have a full pour of this one.
Yeah, a full pour might bring, like, on the second and third taste of it,
right?
You might actually find out that creaminess is actually marshmallow.
And, like we've talked about before, that second taste, a lot of new things kind of come to light when you come back and revisit it. Maybe a second taste,
it's like
the apple would come out.
It's like the difference between meeting somebody at a party and going to their house and hanging out.
Right.
You just get to be, maybe intimate's too strong of a word, but you get to be more acquainted with who they are and what they have to offer, and likewise. But yeah, this the Iron Smoke Straight Bourbon Whiskey, again retailing for roughly $49 here, there, and everywhere from the great state of New York, is triple charred and virgin white oak casks. I get a little mush mouth sometimes, but it's sweet on the tongue.
And we got 80 proof on this. I don't know if we had talked about that. So this is 40% alcohol.
This would make a great gift. I know Father's Day is coming up in June. Anyway, I know Father's Day is coming up. It'd be a great Father's Day gift. It'd be a great birthday gift. Housewarming thing, as long as they enjoy whiskey. But this,
I think it would make a great Mother's Day gift too.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
The right mother,
Right. Yeah, and if your mother drinks whiskey, she's my kind of mother. My mother did not drink whiskey. She drank very, very fruity wine and liqueurs. Like I still drink it. There's a blackberry wine.
Stonehill
Winery. Yeah, they have a blackberry wine that she really liked.
Is that the one in mid Missouri?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like right off the highway.
Yeah. Yep. She drank it, and that's where I found it.
Have you ever been to the winery up in Weston?
I have not.
That's actually a good time. We've talked about making our trip up to the Whiskey Snug at some point. The winery's a good place to do. I've gone up there a couple times.
I take that back. I have been there.
What I like at the winery is they've got mead as well.
Mead is great.
Yes.
That reminds me, my drummer in Into Existence, he was talking about mead and how good it is. Oh yeah, I love mead. We used to, drink mead at band practice all the time, and he's like, really? Where'd you get it? I'm thinking, Hy-Vee's got it. Like,
right.
It's not that damn hard to find, Eddie. But, that...
It's not just the Renaissance Festival.
Right, it's not just Renfest. Last time I went to Renfest, it was last year, maybe year before. They had different flavors of mead. It was not just the honey mead, but there was also blackberry and maybe pear, which I don't mess with pears, but it was
no pears.
No, I'm not a fan of pears. It's the taste, it's the texture, it's everything. They're god awful.
So is that below a strawberry for you?
They're roughly the same ballpark that I won't walk into.
Oh man, I love me some pears.
You know what? More for you. If you like pears and I don't, that's fine. The way I look at it, more for you.
You probably would not enjoy it, but what I find absolutely amazing is the juice out of the can of pear halves. Take that, pour that into a rocks glass, and then put a little bit of Malibu rum.
Now, Malibu rum I like. It's coconut rum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You mix that with some... Jennifer, my darling girlfriend, her go-to cocktail is Malibu rum with pineapple juice and a splash of grenadine.
Oh, yeah.
It looks really cool. It's like a tropical sunset kind of look to it. If and when she drinks, which is super rare anymore, I'll make her some of those, and she's happy.
Yes, pear juice and Malibu rum is quite tasty.
And so is that Iron Smoke Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Do you have any closing thoughts on that one?
I thought it was fantastic. Okay, so you gave it a 8.5.
8.5, 9, and in that ballpark.
I have, up to this point, I have been very, very stingy on my rating systems. I would probably give this one an 8.
An 8?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Very, very tasty.
We're going to try out a Coppersea Excelsior Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Tell us about it, Mr. W2.
Just right off the bat, this one starts off saying an old school pre-prohibition bourbon from upstate New York.
Okay.
So we have another bourbon from upstate New York.
Yeah, with some history behind it.
Yeah, this was kind of cool. So reading up on this one starts off with, now the whiskey's name is loaded with images of yesteryear and symbolism. Mm-hmm. It goes on to talk about, when Prohibition hit, that area, before Prohibition hit, that whole area was just nothing but copper stills and distilleries and,
Yeah, a
and
little
all that.
boom town.
And so when Prohibition hit and they all got shut down, there was just all these copper stills all over the place. And so that's kind of, it sounds like where the name was born from.
Yeah.
Was that visual image of a sea of copper.
Yeah. It says in your notes here, the know-how and tradition that sprung from that sea of copper is still present today.
I think that's pretty cool. The maturation on this is New York casks. It didn't really say anything more than that. And this is a 48% alcohol, so we're up to a 96 proof.
96 proof.
So this one's a little bit hotter.
Yeah, a little hot. I haven't given it the nose yet, but visually it's very, very golden. Very,
it's definitely a lot darker color than the previous one.
And the nose is oak and honey right off the top. Yeah, oak and honey right off the top. It's very forward on that. And you can smell some of the heat from the proof.
The notes say that on the nose there's campfire wood.
I don't know about that.
Well,
are you picking it up?
I'm picking up a little bit of it. It's just a kind of a... It's not quite the smell of your hoodie the next morning after sitting at the fire pit, but I'm picking up just a little bit of that cinder char.
All right. Okay.
Definitely a lot of caramel. Or
yeah, a lot of
caramel,
vanilla. A lot of vanilla. Yeah. I'm ready to give this little time in the mouth.
Let's do it.
That's very caramel forward. Mm-hmm. The burn sticks around a little bit. I taste the kind of, what'd you say, the char, the campfire char, or whatever. I can taste that, and it's not off-putting or anything, but I can definitely taste it. You can definitely feel the proof. The burn is present. It's not like rot gut whiskey burn,
right?
Which is great. This is more classy.
Pinkies out.
Pinkies out. The smell on this is just as intoxicating as the flavor is. It's really good.
I feel like this has probably more of a nose than a lot of them that we've tried. We've talked about before too, the legs. This one definitely got some good legs.
Yeah, legs for days. Yeah, and the finish on it. It says here medium aromatic lingering spices.
Yep.
Yeah, I got the lingering spices, but the caramel's there too, and so is the kind of oaky smoke kind of flavor to it. I didn't notice much of the black pepper that it's talking about in peaches. I didn't notice that at all. Are you picking up on peaches?
I'm not. That's one of the things that I was really intrigued about when I was kind of reading through and looking up on this one is on the taste, on the palate, it talks about peaches.
Yeah. In the summertime, I'm a bit of a peachaholic. Everything I get, if it's peach related, I'm on it. Except maybe peach butter. That's about the only disappointing peach thing I've ever had. But this is definitely not disappointing at all. Neat, the way I like to be introduced to whiskeys and bourbons. This is really good. I mean, I might throw this another solid 8.5.
And this is retails for $45.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So, I mean, that's what's great. We're trying all these really good whiskeys and bourbons, and they're all right there within that range that we've talked about several times.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not picking up on any of the peach, which after you read it in the description, it's kind of disappointing that I can't taste it. Still, it's got loads of caramel. The vanilla's there. The spices on the third kind of small sip of it, you can taste the spices in it, whatever those spices may be. The aromatic, lingering spices in the finish is present. All in all, this is a very good whiskey.
What's interesting about this is, and I've been looking around to find something that kind of points at the why, but this is another one of those American bourbons that they actually have printed or labeled with whiskey with just the Y.
Okay.
I forget which one it was, but one of the ones that we did not too long ago.
Was it a whiskey Scotch blend? Or no, it was a guy that was trained in Scotland on
The Copper Fox.
Copper Fox.
Is a original rye whiskey spelled with just the Y. And when we read up on there, the founder of Copper Fox was trained in Scotland. And so to pay homage to that heritage, he decided to brand it with just the Y. And so I was looking to find something like that with that, but I haven't come across anything as to why they are using just the whiskey with a Y spelling.
Who knows? Maybe it's just a nod to their pre-prohibition roots, because maybe they didn't use a EY back in those days.
Maybe it does talk about their philosophy isn't primitive. That's when the word Excelsior comes in. It's an Empire State motto, and it means ever upward in some dead language. Whatever that means. So now Excelsior Straight Bourbon is 100% New York, which means you might hear Stanley Tarantine cab drivers honking and someone shouting at you to get out of the way
when you open the bottle. That'd be
all right.
That'd be pretty wild. It says, except the Coppersea Distillery is actually a farm upstate. So you should hear rivers, bees, and someone shouting at you to get out of their way. This decadent bourbon is made in-house with grain that grows nearby. Talk about locally produced free-range whiskey, right? Even the casks are made of New York oak, and this whiskey is supposed to be the first one to mature in such oak after the Prohibition. It goes on to say here, by the way, why is locally sourced grain so important? Glad you asked. It's all about controlled sprouting, converting starch into sugars and enzymes, but the most crucial thing here is the result. A uniquely redolent whiskey with fresh and full flavor and complexity that comes from a process called direct firing. Skip the steam, fire the still directly, like in the good old days. I didn't know they used steam.
So maybe that's a pre-prohibition practice.
Must be. I mean, I've watched moonshiners enough to know they've never used steam. They've just built a fire under their copper pot stills. Copper or not, they just built a fire underneath their pot stills. Mm-hmm. Ran their worm through some cold water in some way. Ice down bucket, hung a raccoon pubic bone, and dripped into their little mason jars from heads to tails. But yeah, I didn't know they used steam. I wonder why they would use steam. Probably a reason. Probably some New York thing.
It's a New York thing.
But I think that does it for this episode of Savor the Burn. Dear listener, if you want to learn more about us, head over to savortheburn.com or listen to us in any of the podcast apps available out there. You got Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google, Samsung, Pandora, and many, many more. I know there's a lot more out there. You can find us on socials, such as, but not limited to, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Just look for Savor the Burn or at Savor the Burn. And if you want to email us, you can email info@savortheburn.com. You can email me personally, Jonathan at savortheburn.com, or you can email Wayne directly, W2@savortheburn.com. Thank you for listening, and keep on burning.